Welcome back, everybody. We are here with Gabe and Chad, lovers. That's how we're introducing them until they tell us what they actually do.
That's our profession, lovers.
I love professional lovers.
Yes, professional.
Welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
So happy you're sitting down with us today.
Yes, we're excited. So.
I know.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
All right. Tell us a little bit about yourself. We need your background stories.
Okay, like how far in the back?
Like where you're from, how you met.
Yeah, we need to know how you met.
Oh, oof, wow.
Let's start there.
Okay.
Let me take that one because he's the long-winded one.
Oh.
But so we're both from here. We're both from Indianapolis. Well, technically he's from Lafayette.
Us
Born
too.
in-
Were you really? Shut up.
You guys claim it? I mean,
Everything.
yes.
Are you serious? How long did you live in Lafayette?
Till
Life,
college.
Oh my
So
God!
yeah, I was born in Lafayette Home Hospital.
Our dad used to deliver babies there.
That is
So maybe your dad delivered me.
Oh my God!
Did he deliver babies in 82?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, you did.
We still lived here because I was born in Indy in '85, and when
Oh.
I was 2 years old, we moved to Lafayette.
Okay, so he missed out on
Just
delivery.
missed
you. Jeez.
Shoot.
What a small
I hate that for him.
world.
Wait, where did you go to high school?
No, so I went to
Everywhere.
Klondike Elementary. I went to Edgelia.
No, my
Elementary.
husband is a nugget.
And
My
so I went-
husband is a Klondike nugget.
That's hilarious. I went to Edgelia.
Brains
Okay.
And then we moved when I was in like 3rd grade to Indy.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so that's.
So we missed you.
But my brothers though, both of them
They
graduated from Lafayette Jeff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they both lived there their whole life and then
And they
left.
moved.
And then my brother started at Subaru Zuzu when they first opened it, right out of high school. But yeah, so
What
yeah.
a small world.
Yeah, so Lafayette is still. I still have a niece and nephew who live in Lafayette.
Oh, you did.
And on.
Yeah, and,
What's going on? Or did she move?
do I have
We'll have to talk about this after the pod.
Yeah,
See if
anyway.
we know.
Okay, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
We
Yeah.
were Harrison Raiders.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're Raiders.
We're Raiders.
The Raiders. Last name. Yeah.
All right. Okay, that is crazy.
Okay, that's fine.
So crazy.
So yeah, but after that, he moved here. They moved here.
Yeah,
So
okay.
we both graduated from North Central,
Oh, okay.
class of 2000. We did not know each other.
At all.
Wait, you were the same class?
We were in the same class. We had never crossed paths in high
Never had a
school.
class.
Ever. Like,
Oh.
we had mutual friends that we found out later. So in, I'd say 2009, Chad was working as a subcontractor over in Afghanistan because he, after high school, he went to the Army, war vet, all of that. Yay. But then he was working as a subcontractor, and his nieces and nephew asked him to start a Facebook page so that they could keep up with him. He could see what was going on,
Yeah.
whatever, you know. So he's like, okay, he obliged. So back then on Facebook, you know, it was like for college
Yeah,
students, or like when you got on, it would prompt you to look at like your classmates, people you went to school with. So he randomly saw my profile and he commented on a picture.
Because she was hot.
And and I was just like, you know, I got the alert and I'm looking and I'm just like, okay, Chad, let me look at his profile. Oh, he went to North Central. Oh, he graduated class of 2000. I must know him, you know, like maybe we had a class together. So, and I was like fresh out of a relationship. I was like, you know, let me just say, hey, how's it going? What's been going on? So we started talking and then I was like, honestly, did you really go to North Central? Because I don't really remember you. Like, I tried to look him up in the yearbook. He's like, in none of our yearbooks are
I moved so much.
So we started talking from there, and he asked me for my number, and then he would start calling me, and
Spend a lot of money on the satellite phone
yeah,
to
he
call
was calling me.
her.
I had no idea until after
Spend
that.
thousands of dollars.
I had we would literally be talking for hours on the phone.
It would be like a $2,000 call
I
every time.
had no idea.
She said no.
I have no idea. And I'm just talking like, so what's your favorite color? Like, you know, just asking these random questions. But literally, like, that's how we got to know each other.
Yeah.
We did the long distance thing, dating, for almost 2 years. So, like, within that time period, he had breaks. He would come here and we would hang out. He'd stay for like a month and then we traveled. We went to like LA. We went to Disney. He proposed. I said not yet, and
But
then he ghosted
no,
me.
No, stop.
I didn't get the tea yet.
Oh my gosh! So after a year, his family goes on this Disney World trip, and he was like, asking me to come with him, and I'm like, sure, free trip to Disney, count me in, He's overseas, so we're talking, but also like I'm still doing my thing here because I'm like I don't want a long distance relationship, so I'm still kind of dating and whatever.
Talking to losers.
That part, but so I'm like I'm gonna go, and everybody's like, well, he's gonna propose to you, and I'm like, he's definitely not proposing to me. Like, of course not. And he literally picks me up from the airport. We get to the hotel room, and he hands me a box. It was burning a hole in his pocket. He couldn't even wait. So he hands me the box, and I was just like, I'm just not ready yet. For one, I didn't want to sign up for him to be like long distance where he was overseas. Right. I was like, this is not what I see for my life. Like, I'm just not there yet. I think
I was going to combat zone still.
So I was like, I don't know that I'm ready for that. Not yet. He heard no. Everybody was, it affected our whole trip. This was the beginning of the trip. So he was like moody and annoyed the entire time. His family is looking at me like, what the hell is wrong with him? And I'm like, oh.
Wait, so they didn't know that you proposed?
They didn't know that he had proposed. And I was like, I don't want to say anything.
Yeah.
So we made the best of the trip. This was right before my birthday, and I remember I go back because I leave early. They stay because I had to go back to work. And he was like, I'll be home. I'll be back in Indianapolis for a couple weeks before I go to my next deployment. Or do you call it deployment? Yeah, deployment. Yeah. I'll call you, when I get back. Didn't hear from him. Literally. Didn't hear from him. My birthday passed. Didn't hear from him. He left. Didn't hear from him. This was in June of 2010. We did not talk until December of 2010, like right before the new year, or was it January?
No, it was right before.
It was right before. It was right before the new year. He literally ghosted me. And do you have anything to say for yourself?
He's just sitting there with a smirk on his face.
Yeah. So I was, I was highly hurt. And I took it as a no. But the part that stung even more was that she was talking to other guys, I was like, well, she's not even serious enough to in my head, she's not even serious enough to go there in general. Cause she, so I took it, like that. So I was hurt. So I just I didn't want to say anything mean or be mean. So I was like, you know what, let me just distance myself so I just can, not be mean, basically, just kind of whatever, figure it out. So then I did go overseas again, back to Afghanistan, and there was the place that I went was highly desolate. I mean, it was tiny and very in the middle of nowhere. So my communication, I had it for a little while, but then I left, went to a different place. I was moving around in that 4 months. But again, I was hurt, so I just didn't know what to say.
Meanwhile, I was over here stressing because it's that like the absence makes the heart grow fonder. I was just like, first of all, you don't get to propose to me and then leave. Like, you literally just disappeared. I was calling his mom. I was calling her job. Like, I was trying to figure out, like, is he okay?
Yeah.
Like, what happened? I was like, back then it was, the Google Messenger or Gmail. Like, I would see him on GChat. Like, I would see the little green
the dot.
and I would be like, hey, he wouldn't say anything. Literally left me on red before leaving. A person on red was a thing. And I was emailing him. I was sending him emails every month. I would send him an email, wait for a response every month. I would wake up, I would have dreams about him. Literally in this time period, I realized how much I loved him. Like, how much I was like, okay, this is not okay. Like, I really do love this guy, but dang, where did he go? So December.
So your plan worked.
December.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was this the
2010.
plan?
My
Clearly,
devious plan
December
worked.
2010. I was like, you know what? New year, new me. We're going into the new year. I'm gonna call him, and this is the last time I'm reaching out. I'm gonna call, and if I don't hear from him, new year, I'm done. So I call and I leave this message, and I don't remember if I told you I loved you on the message or what, but I was just like, please call me back. I'm worried about you. I miss you. All the things. Literally calls me back the very next day.
So in the meantime, I had been working on trying to get a stateside job. So
because that was a deal breaker for me.
I knew that she wouldn't, so I was like, well, okay, how do I get a stateside job? I'm making really good money. So I don't want to like stop making really good money. Right. My program manager was trying to get into business development. So I was like, look, if you get into business development, I want your job. Like, make sure that happens. If you don't, then, I'm gonna hurt you. And so that came to fruition. Like, I came back 2 months early from a deployment because it came to fruition that I would be able to take his job. Mm-hmm. So she ended up calling, like, just everything, the stars kind of aligned where I could tell her that I wasn't deploying anymore.
Nice.
And then invited her to
Vegas
with
his family
for New Year's.
For New Year's.
What's with the family trip?
Listen,
That's like intimidating.
The funniest thing is that we've not taken a family trip like that. I don't feel like saying.
No.
Life has
Rightfully
shifted.
so.
And people have grown. It just
it really was my brother and his wife, and so.
Unfortunately, they're not together anymore. So
they're not together anymore. So,
yeah.
But
that all changed.
So we went to Vegas.
And really sealed the deal. Vegas
had an
sealed
amazing
the deal.
time.
It was literally like I was in tears when I had to leave because I was like, I don't want to leave you. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, where did you guys go?
So,
like your separate
so
ways
his
then?
stateside job was in Savannah, Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
So I was here living in Indianapolis working. And, he was just like, I mean, if you just marry me, we wouldn't have to go away. We wouldn't have to. So he would say that all the time. So, for a couple of weeks, he would just say that on the phone. We would Skype. And
Skype was a thing, right?
Skype was a thing. And I was like, you know what? The next time he says that, I'm doing it. And because I knew no fail. Every time we would get on the phone, I would be like, oh, this sucks, whatever. And he's like, well, if you would just marry me, So the next time he did it, he said that. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And he was like, what? I was like,
you playing?
No, for real. Let's get married. I want to do this. And we got engaged in January of 2011, married in August 2011. 13 years later, here we are.
Congrats.
That was the really, really long story. Sorry.
No, it's very interesting.
Long-winded.
And usually I'm really short.
You're so long-winded.
That's when we got married too.
In 2011? Really?
Yeah.
Shut up.
You were 2010, right?
Yeah.
Well, look at that.
That's cool.
Look at us. We've been in this thing.
You've been in this thing. Yeah, so that's our story.
I love it.
Okay, we need to know what you call yourselves, like your job titles. Are you influencers?
Lovers.
Are you
Remember?
podcasters?
Lovers and friends.
We already claimed the lovers.
Lovers and
we
friends.
need more than that.
So,
Lover, homie, friend.
what do you say? Like if someone's like, "What's your job?"
it depends on the day.
I know, right?
It really depends on
the person.
And the person.
Yeah, and the person.
Do I
people
really
don't
feel like
understand.
explaining
right,
this?
Yeah, right,
Or because some days I'll just say, "Oh, I'm in marketing."
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
We say we own a
that.
marketing advertising company.
Yeah,
so half
and
the
that's
time.
what we say. But I'd say to the outside, we are all of the above. We are podcasters. We are influencers. We're content creators.
yes. Okay.
It just depends on the day, really.
Yeah,
We're business owners. We run our company. We're entrepreneurs. So
yeah, I think that
all the above.
we're thought of as when it comes to brand work or stuff we do on social media. Obviously, as social media influencers, but we don't. That's not something we don't. The title is just
so but it is what it is now.
It is what it
People
is.
get it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think earlier it was just such a negative.
Yes.
I agree.
That's
And now I
so
feel
it's like, I'm not really an
Especially for people
influencer,
that
but
have-
now people are like, oh, I'm an influencer. It's a thing to be.
Yes.
Like for people that have a 9-to-5, I feel like it's such a.
Oh,
you know what
still,
I mean?
And still,
Right.
it's like
Which
even
I get it because
it's
you're
like,
well.
I get it, but also I probably make more money than you do.
Yeah.
Like it's
Honestly, and I'm not being funny, but it's like, okay, you
And
have
working
a 9 to
less
5,
hours
right?
and
Right.
getting to be with
it
my
doesn't
family.
mean
Exactly. Yeah.
that we
it's-
have this it's like a hobby. It's like people don't take it seriously.
No, people don't take it seriously.
Right.
Yeah, and they don't. The same respect that we would give to someone that does their job.
Yeah.
It's like we're working too.
Right. We're really working
we're-
here.
we work hard,
Yeah.
and it's not easy just to build an audience. Of
Keep
people
audience,
that and keep an audience, the people that want to support you and watch you and are invested in your life. Somebody can ask a question in a comment like, oh, how many brothers does Chad have? They'll say the brothers' names, how old they are, and who they are.
Know
like, you know what I'm saying? Because they've been
our whole, we started vlogging in
know?
October of 2011.
Oh,
so
okay.
on
So
YouTube,
we're coming up on 13 years of that.
started just kind of sharing our lives.
Yeah.
and that's kind of where it all started.
That's
like,
what I was
that
gonna
the
ask. Like,
beginning
was it social
of-
media or like what?
Because that's pretty early for, you know what I mean? Like,
Very early.
Blogging
like,
was really young.
It was
at that
the
point.
very
entrepreneurs
young.
of-
Like it was not. We had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah.
We were just
doing
having
it.
fun.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
just kind of fun.
Good
like,
home movies. I mean,
Yes.
you
We
know?
were like, this is, if anything,
It is like
we'll
the
be able
modern
to-
day.
Yeah, it was like,
home
you think
movies.
of home movies, it's like them boring things that with no sound, you
Yeah.
can't barely see it.
Yeah.
But like
And
ours
like
were
your
like,
parent with like a huge camcorder.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, exactly. But for us,
That's
we're like,
exactly
we've got
what it
home
is.
movies that, you know, we actually put some time in to edit them and we can always go back and watch them, you know,
Yeah.
but, and you couldn't make money until you had like 15,000 subscribers at the time.
okay, on
And so,
YouTube.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
YouTube. So when we first started, we only had like 1,000.
Yeah.
You know, so
It was just, it's strictly a hobby. Like I moved to Savannah, Tennessee
Okay.
once
Okay.
we got married. We got married here in Indy, and then I moved down there with him. And Savannah, Tennessee is like the smallest place.
Yeah, I don't even know where. I've never heard of
know.
that.
People have
Nobody
never
knows
heard
where
of
What's
it's
it
at.
by?
it's on the border of Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee.
Oh,
It's
Exactly.
so far from here.
It's like 2 hours
Yeah.
from Nashville.
That's
Okay.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And we
yeah.
would have to like go to either Florence, Alabama or Jackson, Tennessee to
Go to a Target or Starbucks.
Starbucks, a mall, because that's how small. So we were just like taking people along on our adventures. On the weekends, we'd go
Yeah.
and we'd hang out and
And we didn't. We
we'd
were.
vlog it.
Yeah. And then we
Yeah.
got pregnant in
Yeah.
what? When did you get pregnant?
2012.
Like 2012.
Yeah.
Like
And then
April. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it just kind of like the social media just grew and grew and
So, like,
continued
did
to
you
grow.
have jobs during the because you said it was like your hobby?
Yeah, so he was
Yeah.
working. So when we first got married, I quit my job here. I moved down there because he was making enough. He had gotten that position,
Program
the management
manager.
position.
So I was managing the
threat-
guys
the
He was
threat
overseas.
job.
managing all the
The
other
threat job,
guys.
exactly.
Yeah, so I didn't really have to work when we got down there, but then I
Mm-hmm.
got bored. So I was like, I need to do something.
Yeah.
So,
And so I was employed like number 25 at the company. So I knew the CEO like really well, like good old Alfred.
yeah,
And
it
so
was
I
really
was
like a family.
So I was like, hey, my wife wants a job. Can we get her something? And so
It just so happened that the person that was doing my job, I think she was having a baby or something.
Something like that.
So she was going on maternity leave. So I came in as like the travel coordinator
Yeah.
for like all the people that traveled in the company. Like
Which
So
Make-
is that
I
how
handled
you
all the
got into
travel.
like the travel like vlogging?
no,
It's like it's just pure coincidence.
No, it's pure coincidence that I was the travel coordinator. Like
It's just funny 'cause
it
she's
is why I now plan all of our trips, and I love to do that now because
she's our travel
That's what
coordinator.
I did, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But I love looking for flights and stuff like that. I don't know, it just makes me happy. I don't know.
That's
I
how
just love
she is.
doing
That's
it.
her.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's
it's like
funny.
a challenge, and then
It
when it all
is.
comes together, that's how I feel about Disney. I'm like,
Oh gosh,
Oh, gosh,
yes, 'cause
like-
you got to
Yes.
be prepared. For
yes.
Yes,
for
we've
sure.
been blessed because every time we
Yeah.
went to Disney as of late,
They have planned it.
They
for us.
plan
Oh,
it.
that's nice.
They book
that's
everything,
great.
so
Thank
it's
you.
it's like Disney does it all for us. So we just
Yeah.
have to show up. So we're lucky.
Yeah, so that was how I got in, and so we've been working together since then. You
Nice.
know, and then once I had our son in 2013, I didn't go back. I was like, we're starting to make some money here with YouTube. Like it's kind of,
And- yeah.
part
Picking
time
up.
is
Yeah.
picking up. Like my salary's not really needed. You still have this really good job, so
And then I
decided not to go back after that.
And then I got promoted to the director of the division. So I got like a $75,000 pay raise.
Yeah.
So she definitely didn't
I
need to
was
go
like,
back,
I need
right?
to
So
be doing this.
so so that's kind of how that
It started,
that-
and I
that
started
first
to
part of
focus more on GabeBabeTV. I had a blog
Yeah, I
at
was
the
gonna
time.
ask. Like, tell us what
Yeah.
that is. That's the title of.
So GabeBabeTV is the title of our YouTube.
Okay.
This is our YouTube channel, but it's also like what we do our business as. It's like the DBA for our business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So it started as
started
Gabe and
as
Babe.
Gabe and Babe at first, and then we were like, oh, let's try GabeBabeTV. So we made GabeBabeTV. In 2015, we got the LLC, started, working. Like within all of that, the job that we were at, it crumbled, and he saw it coming. So he got a job here to move us.
Oh,
from
I was
there,
gonna
'cause
ask
he
how you
knew
ended
that
up back
it was,
here.
He knew
Yeah,
the end
yeah.
was
So
coming.
I'm the one that managed all of the money that came in. Like I knew what we were making and what we weren't, and so I saw that positions were being eliminated by the prime contractor, and so I could just see it coming. So and there would be nights where I I come home and just lay on the couch, you know, and you know, she knew it because I just knew it was happening.
Yeah.
So I started applying for jobs. Like, I mean, like I couldn't find a job. Like Target wouldn't even hire me. Like TSA, thank God, they didn't hire me. But I'm like, I couldn't get any job. You know, here I am, like, you know, I thought being, you know, a non-commissioned officer, having a bachelor's degree, being, you know, a combat veteran. I'm like, man, I couldn't get a job. But McGraw-Hill Education hired me as a production manager for an $85,000 pay cut. Yeah. So, but it was gonna be closer for her to be close to her mom, her grandmother. So it made sense. It was worth it, right? So took that job. Hated it for a year. It was over there on 69th in Michigan. Hated it. They lost all their contracts a year later. But the same week that they lost their contracts and I got laid off, we got our first Walmart commercial offer.
Oh, cool.
Like it was literally the same week.
Was it the commercial or was it the pilot? It was the pilot first.
Was it the pilot first?
Yeah, I think so. One of the other.
One of the other.
We did a pilot
We
years ago. It never made the light of day, but we got paid for it.
You got paid for it?
Yeah, we got paid for it. It was a fun experience, you know, like
Yeah.
to have camera
Yeah.
crews, like
Yeah.
legit camera crews all up in your face and stuff.
Wait, were the kids in that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the kid.
Oh,
Well,
that's so fun.
set Chad Jr. Reagan was not here yet.
Oh, okay.
So it was Chad Jr. At this time, he was one. He was like one and a half. Yeah. So it was either that or it was the first Walmart commercial that we
can't remember
did
which one
right
it
after
was.
he got laid off from McGraw-Hill. So it was like, oh, great. We have this nice little cushion.
Yeah.
You don't have to rush to find a job. Like, you know, you can really look for something you really, really want.
Yeah.
This was November
And
of
this was-
2014.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we created the LLC January of 2015 for GabeBabeTV. And then we've been full-time ever since.
That's
Both of you
awesome.
full time.
Both of us
Yeah.
full-time.
Do you feel like you've lost focus of your fitness and nutrition goals over the summer? If so, we have the solution.
Lindsay Willard, the owner of 10 More Seconds, operates her small, cozy fitness studio from her home in Fishers. She does private reformer sessions, private strength training sessions, nutrition coaching, and even has some amazing workouts for people looking to improve their golf game.
Caitlin, did you know that starting in their mid-30s, women start to lose muscle mass as a side effect of aging?
Yes, and working with Lindsay can help you develop strength as a way to help combat a slow metabolism and build muscle. She's been working with individuals for over 20 years, and she's so much fun.
Visit her at 10moreseconds.com or find her on Instagram at lindsay.10moreseconds. That's Lindsay with an A. And sign up for a 10-session package with the code Scuttlebutt at checkout and receive a 10 More Seconds Yeti coffee mug.
Can you guys tell us now? I'm sure it's like always different, but what does kind of like a day-to-day look like for you guys now with your job?
It is very different. It literally, no, it just depends on the work that we have. So every day we typically have kind of a loose idea of what needs to get done. And some weeks are busier than others depending on how many brand deals we have to do. So it's like we either have to film them, we got to sit down and create the concepts for them, multiples, like, oh, we have these things coming up, let's sit down and create the concepts. If the concepts are approved, let's go ahead and film them and then get them edited and sent off.
So do you guys do all of that?
Yeah, I was gonna
like you
ask,
don't have like a
someone
company
help?
that manages you, right?
No, so we do all of that. We tried so I did all of the editing for the vlogs once.
I started off
started all
editing
the
them, and
editing.
then I taught him how to edit, and then I just gave it to him. I was like, I'm done editing, because I did it for the first
Yeah.
I'd say few years.
She
I
did, yeah, she
edited
did.
most of it.
I was, and then I took it from her because I was better at just making cuts and moving on.
He was quicker.
She's a bit of a perfectionist.
I'm like watching it 3 and 4 times.
I feel
He's
that.
Like, listen.
Yeah.
I would just make a cut and move on, and she'd be
Yeah.
like watching it over and over.
Yeah.
Like, sweetie. But yeah, no. So now we have an editor for our vlogs, though. Kind of unloaded that piece. But anything brand work or
He
the
still edits it all.
podcast, she'll edit some of the
Some of the, like,
reels
shorter
and stuff like
ones,
that.
yeah.
But like I'll edit those, and then she'll do like the markups on, put it on Instagram, do the markups for it, or she'll do the voiceovers and give them to me. And so it's really a team effort.
Yeah, it sounds like
very team effort. I do all of the business stuff, so I do all the negotiating, contract stuff. I make sure all that happens. We did try a management company, but realistically, what we found is that
they're not able to.
How do I say this in a nice way? I'm a better negotiator than them.
They're not able to get the rate that you can.
And we proved it. We had a management company. They got us a few deals. Within 2 weeks of me taking it back, we got like 3 deals that were like 4 times more than what they got us.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's like his
in 6 months.
Is his thing, and I think he ran away from it for a while. Like he needed a break. He got kind of burnt out. And wanted
just
to
burnt
do
out.
different things, and it was just like we tried it, but it's just not working. Like if I got to give you 20%, it's got to be worth it.
You're right.
And if the email's coming to us, why am I giving it to you?
Why am I sending it to you anyway?
Like so we took that back.
Bringing it,
especially when you guys can both commit to that as like your full-time job.
Yeah,
and it's not like. I feel like a management company, maybe if you already had full-time jobs and we're trying to do this too.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, that was a long-winded answer, but it's really just filming, or do we have a dance challenge to do, or a funny challenge, or a podcast to film, or do we have a trip that we have to get ready for and we have to travel? So it literally every week looks different.
And so we have a program management tool that we use.
Yeah.
Where we
Just
track
to keep us on
everything.
track, yeah.
Because we have like, I think like 14 different campaigns that we're working on right now. So we're anywhere from like 10 to, so it's a lot of stuff to, for just us two to keep up with. But we've got a good system, so it works well.
So you guys travel a lot, right?
We do.
How does that work? Like, do people reach out to you? Do you reach out to them? Like...
Yeah, so I would say like 99% of our work is people reaching out to us. Honestly, 100%, because we don't do any outreach of our own.
Well, that says a lot,
which is a blessing.
No,
it is a blessing, but it's always that question, like, could we be doing more if we were doing our own? Like it's that, like, do we really need to? Am I being greedy? But also, like, what opportunities are we leaving on the table by not?
I feel like that's a really hard balance.
It is. It really is.
It's like, when's enough?
Is enough?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
especially when you feel busy already.
Right.
True. So like I don't know when it really just happened, but we just started getting reached out to from like travel bureaus, and they would ask us to come, and they create the itinerary. They have what they want us to cover, and we would do a lot of it for our YouTube. We would put a lot of it on our YouTube and film, and then at some point when the shift happened, our brand deals shifted from YouTube to Instagram. So now it's all about like coming to the place and let's create a reel or do all of this thing. So it literally, I don't even know, like, our first travel. I was trying to think, like, what was our first, but it just was years of us taking these trips. And then I think the more people see you working with travel bureaus, they're like, oh, okay, this is a traveling family. So I think that kind of helped the more we did it. Yeah. And we were traveling on our own also. So it was like, the more people saw us doing that and then us highlighting it on our socials, then they would start to reach out more.
What's your favorite place that you've been?
Branded?
Yeah.
Probably Aruba. Aruba would be.
So we got to go there for so every year they do a vow renewal ceremony.
Okay.
Like on the beach.
On the beach.
Everybody comes.
So like a bunch of people come and they just have
it's the coolest
thing.
thing.
Like a big group of people.
It's like it's like a pastor or whoever, the officiant, like everybody's coupled up doing their vow renewals on the beach. It is the coolest thing.
But it was funny because it was actually in August.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, perfect.
Like it was on or right before our anniversary.
I think it was like the 19th or the 21st. So it was right before or after our anniversary.
Our anniversary.
And so but they treat us to like, we had a really nice resort, and then we went. They had a limo. They took us to the.
That's awesome.
I mean, so they really treat us really nice, and
it was all 4 of us. It was the whole family.
It was the whole family.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. The kids could see
I was going to ask. Like, my next question was, do the kids go a lot?
Oh yeah, the kids. their passports are nicely stamped. Like,
What's
like,
their favorite?
Well,
They would say the Nickelodeon resort.
Nickelodeon Resort. We did both Nickelodeon resorts, one in Mexico, one in Dominican Republic.
Those are their favorite. They also love Disney. Anytime we get
Love
to go to
Disney.
they love that.
We've done a couple Disney cruises.
Yeah,
They don't realize how like blessed they are,
Right.
because like just I mean, we like Chad was yesterday was like, we were like, what do you want to do on fall break? He's like, can we go back to Paris, France?
like that's
Not Paris, France.
That's not a fall break
Not a
trip.
fall break trip, buddy.
Because in
start doing some
2019,
reach
in 2019 we took the summer and we just took a family trip. This wasn't branded or anything, and we were there for like 3 weeks. We did Paris. And then we went to Italy. My mom came. We took her to Italy for a weekend, and we were there for like three and a half weeks.
Yeah, so it was.
They're always like, "Oh, I want to do that." And Reagan was like, "Well, I want to be older.
Now that I'm a big girl.
Now that I'm a big girl, I want to experience Paris," because she was like a baby, so she doesn't remember it. But she's like, "I want to experience it now." I'm like, "Okay, girl."
And you
6-year-old.
know her personality, so
I know her.
so you could tell.
Sassy.
She's very
sassy.
sassy.
But yeah, no. So they've been able. It's been so cool to allow them, afford them the opportunity to travel because of just the blessings that we've been getting. Because
Neither one of us had that.
we never had that. So it was like for them to get to think that the option is to travel to another country for fall break is like, it's just cool that they can even think that, because we do travel a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was listening to one of your podcasts, and you guys were talking about like the benefits of traveling as a family, and I loved. It seems like so obvious, but I love the point of like quality time with your family, because you do get in such a routine here, and it's just like school, practice,
all the
late night
activities,
dinner, shower, bed. You
That's
know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the time you have with them is so small. Like once they start school age, and it's like you get them home, and it's like
If you like are traveling, you remove yourself from all of that. It's like
And then you're
your
not
only
doing
option
housework
together.
and cooking, and
Right.
it's like you're
so
all
it's cool to just come together and just be like wherever we are and do all these fun activities together. Like even when we're filming and we have to work, it's still cool because we're all doing it together. Right. You know?
Yeah.
it's
I love
like with Chad Jr. Because he's 11 going on 25. So he's growing, figuring out who he is, and but when we're like our last trip, it just reminded me that he's still our little
a
boy.
baby, yeah.
Because he in the pool, like he wanted to just hang all
just
over
wants to hang on
all
us.
over
Yeah.
us,
Play.
and play,
Yeah.
and we love that,
It's
because
awesome.
here you don't get that. He's either his
got
friends
his
are there,
Yes.
He's too
Or
video
whatever,
games,
you know what I
Exactly.
mean?
whatever.
Yeah, so we definitely value those moments, because they go
They're
quick.
fleeting.
yes.
They go quick.
Okay, we want to shift to the podcast.
Okay.
Okay, it's called Let's Make Out.
Yes. Let's make
Tell
out.
us a
Let's.
little bit about that.
Because my husband is pretty, he's been good today, but he's pretty inappropriate at times.
I'm trying.
Inappropriate out. We can mark this
Okay,
explicit.
cool.
Inappropriate.
I'm very
and
inappropriate.
I feel like a common theme throughout like our vlogging, he would always just be like, yeah, so we're gonna we'll talk about what we're doing today, and we're gonna make out. We're gonna make out today. Like make out would always make it in
serious,
the
though.
vlog
Yeah.
at some point. So when we thought about starting a podcast, we were trying to think of just names and things that meant something for us, and we were like,
We had made a T-shirt called. It just said "Let's Make
Let's
Out"
Make
with
Out.
the GabeBabeTV logo
Yeah.
on it.
Oh, yeah.
Because
and then we were
people
like, what if we just, because it's a common phrase for Gay Babe TV, why don't we just call our podcast that? So then we kind of spin it like, let's make out, where we make out all things love, life, and laughter in the podcast, because those are like our pillars of things that we like to cover. So yeah, it just stuck. It stuck, and we started our podcast when I was pregnant with Reagan, so 2017.
So
I'm so impressed by the dates that you guys are just like throwing out right now.
It's interesting to remember.
When was that? Like
Yeah.
like November of this. I'm so impressed.
Also, we've told the story so many times that it's like you remember it.
So obviously we made out because we shoot pregnant.
Yes. And the podcast was really cool because Gay Babe TV is really family friendly. It's brand friendly. We keep it very PG. That's kind of like just our audience.
Yeah,
But
we had done these things called couch conversations.
yes, that's how it started.
On the vlog channel.
Okay.
And
It would just be like a sit down video.
sit
with me
down
and him.
talking about something. But yeah, we were like, you know, if we start a podcast, it's an opportunity for us just to talk. You know, like just to slow down and just talk, be together. But then also talk about adult stuff. You know, whereas we wouldn't want to necessarily do that on the vlog channel because we know there's a lot of families and kids that watch. Our audience is just the age gap of our audience is wild. I mean, we have grandmothers. We have like 70-year-old grandmothers that watch us, and you know, teenage,
kids.
you know, and we have teenagers and younger. Like it's wild. Like the age gap of people that watch us.
Yeah, so let's make
which is
out
cool, but it's
really just our kind of outlet to just be us.
It was Chad's inappropriate time.
It was.
Yes.
It was
He needed
just
his
for him.
outlet.
Yeah.
Yes. And it allows me to be myself.
Been fun.
It's been fun. Yeah, it's been fun.
It's been a fun journey.
So we did like 120 episodes or something like that, and then we just took a break. We just took a break. You know, just you know how it is. Just doing a podcast. Sometimes you just you know, you don't know what to talk about. You're just kind of
and life was kind of happening for us too. Like my mom was, she was going through like a breast cancer journey, and it was just a lot happening. Yeah. So we were like, let's take a break.
And every week she would come stay with us after her chemo.
Yeah. So this year we actually came back to podcasting just like a couple months ago.
Yeah, we actually it's because we had a trip
because we
to
had
Puerto Vallarta.
Yep.
Podcast
in Paradise.
Podcast in Paradise, where we set literally in paradise, and we did the podcast outdoors, and that was because good old Bob, he's this guy that shout out to Bob. He's sent us on all these trips. Yeah. And so that was a trip he had, and he wanted to do the podcast in the paradise. That was kind of like their theme. So
we were like, well, let's come back. You know, this is kind of our excuse to like really come, because we've been talking about it, but we were kind of like, eh. So then we came back. We did like a Q&A for the first couple of episodes, and people were really excited to see us back. And then we did the podcast in paradise. So it's podcasting has been fun for us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's enjoyable to just talk, and then again just kind of be able to be our full,
uncensored
selves.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
On the
podcast.
On the podcast. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. Okay, can you, since it is about like couples, can you give us your best marriage advice? Ooh. I know, on the spot. I'm so sorry.
Make out a lot.
Yeah, obviously number one is make out.
So so my keys to a successful day are nice good hug, quite a few booty slaps, those have to happen, or squeezes, and or both, and really communicate, just talk, have communicate, don't, anytime where I've thought by not telling her something that was the better option, it's just not, and it's never anything like crazy or but it's just like if you're trying to protect somebody else's, your spouse's emotions or how they're going to feel, it's probably going to backfire. So just talk, just communicate. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. This is your person, ride or die right here,
Yeah.
And I feel like that's been our key to our marriage.
And working together every day too.
Yeah, we have to be able to tell each other the hard things, the not so nice things, the constructive criticism. We have to. Yeah. So being able to have that open communication, and I feel like for us, because that's how we started, literally thousands and thousands of miles apart, all we had was communication to get to know each other, so it is literally $2,000 foundation. It's literally the foundation of our relationship is learning communication styles and how to speak to each other, and how to not take things personal, but also dating each other has been a really big key for us. Date nights and day dates, they are a thing. it is happening. And we used to be really good about like literally every Friday was a date night. And then, you know, life happened. We got kids.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe like
I do
every
feel like
other
that's a
Friday.
big deal though. With the kids.
It
in the
is. You
picture.
have to take that time to do that, because if you don't make the time, like it's easy to just get caught up in routine.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's like a month goes by and you're like, dang, when the last time we sat down and had a dinner together
Right.
without the
Right.
kids,
Right.
you
Without
know?
cutting up food and
Yeah, exactly.
being
You know,
interrupted
like how's it
every
going? You know, we're passing by each
right.
other,
Yeah,
or we're
you're
just
like
sitting.
2 paper bags.
Yeah, or we're just sitting on the couch at night, drained, watching TV. But
Yeah.
that's not like really
Right.
quality time. So
Yeah, we made it a point to say that like our marriage is still the most important thing. Like the kids don't have to become the most important thing. Like everybody always says, the kids, you know, they become the most. Well, they don't have to. They don't have to. Like
right.
they're important, but without the marriage and it being solid, you're not going to be able to be You're not going to be as good of a parent, or as you know that you want to be for your kids.
like it goes hand in
You know,
hand.
so like it really. It's a trickle down effect. If that's not good, then your kids are going to suffer because you're not in a good place. Like so, we want to make sure our relationship. We love that you know our kids get to see that too. They get to see us being affectionate.
Yes.
You know, get to see us messing around with each other, and you know
Even
me
though
messing
our
with.
son, he's like, he'll see him grab
So
the booty
embarrassed.
and he's like,
Dad.
But
but it's like, hey, this is what a loving
But this is-
relationship
yeah.
looks
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah, like this
one
is-
day maybe you'll get there. Like this is what it's supposed to look like. Because neither one of us really had that
No.
example of what, you know, I mean, I grew up, my mom was a single parent for, you know, most of my time growing up. So it's like, I never even got to see an interaction with her and like my dad. But even, you know, him coming from a 2-parent household, it was just a completely different.
Yeah, my dad was just highly abusive.
relationship.
So
Yeah,
so he abusive in all the ways outside of sexual, but he just So I saw what I didn't want to be, you know, and she saw what she didn't want to be. Right? She didn't want to be a single. She wanted to be loved, and she wanted to be treated the way that she deserved to be treated. And
so that's just important for us to display.
It's amazing you guys could like come together and create that from what you said, like your upbringing was.
Yeah,
No, it's-
absolutely. That's one of the greatest blessings. Just like looking at our kids and thinking like what they get to experience and what we're able to provide for them versus what was provided for us. Like it's really
breaking
cool.
the cycle.
Yeah, breaking the cycle. Yeah,
she's pretty
for
blessed.
sure. Yes, I am.
Well, I think it's important too because a lot of people say then, like once the kids are grown and out of the house in college, like then what do you have? You know what I mean?
And it's like they're gonna leave us.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I want to like you still
Yeah.
when they leave. You
Yeah.
know, like it's important. Like we take trips together, we do staycations together. Like we have a nanny, and she gets used. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, and it's okay.
And
The
don't
kids-
feel guilty about it.
No,
'Cause I think that's
like,
what people feel
People
guilty.
feel really guilty, and it's like, but think of all the time that you spend with your kids and what you're doing for them. It's
Right.
okay
Right.
to take a moment for yourself.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And I think that
to
moms
take
feel
an
more
evening,
guilty than-
you know.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely
Like
think it's a mom.
traditionally.
Yeah,
thing.
traditionally
Yeah,
moms
yeah.
just feel because it's that nurturing
Right,
side
right.
that you know that moms just have, you know.
Yeah.
And I think, but yeah, you got like you have to. You're still a person that wants to
Right.
be loved and
Right.
wants to
Yeah.
you know feel loved by the person that you married. You know, it's like you gotta take advantage
And
of
the
that.
opposite
you
side
know?
of that also is like, I'm teaching my children that it's okay to care for yourself. And your
Right.
relationship,
See
like,
that.
it's
Yeah.
okay. Like
Right.
mommy goes on every Mother's Day. I have a staycation because it's celebrating me being a mom.
Yeah.
Okay, and mommy gets to take her time, and it's okay. Like I want to
Yes.
teach my children that that's okay. Like everything does not come
like,
before
healthy and-
your. It's
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A good balance.
Like there's a balance.
Yeah.
Like I'm here. I'm with you. We have our time, but I got a life too.
And it makes the time that you're with them better.
Yeah.
You know, when you
Yeah.
have
Yeah, you're
those-
not as angry.
I know you're like not resenting them or I
Yeah,
need
you
a
stop
break or I
stressed,
need a,
yeah.
you know, you're
Seriously.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
so
because I
true.
mean, like we can all be completely honest here. Being a parent is stressful at times
tough.
because
Yeah.
there's no handbook on how to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Like you're figuring it out, you know, like
And they're all different.
And our two different kids,
Our
like Chad
kids are
Jr. is so
Right,
chill.
yeah, right. There's
and
no,
Reagan,
oh, like
Cookie
it's-
cutter.
No.
This is what you do with your kid.
Not at
No.
all.
no, you have to figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, like when they get emotional over things, you're like, I don't know why you're emotional, but they're emotional, so you
Yeah.
just have to try to figure out how
You
to
do.
support them. So yeah, having that opportunity to self-care is so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. You want to ask them the last question?
Yes. Speaking of like dating and everything. Okay, this is something though that we ask all of our guests.
Okay.
If you have friends and family coming to town to visit you, where are you guys going? Where are you eating? What are you doing? And a lot of people, well, you can do two options. A lot of people say like, well, if they come into town with kids, we're going to go do this.
okay.
Or if it's just like a couple's night out, we're going to go do this.
Well, couples night out, we going to Anthony's.
We're going to Anthony's Shop House.
Oh,
That
Shop
is
House.
Have you heard we
absolute-
might get one in Fishers?
No.
Yeah, it's a rumor.
In the yard.
Real,
They're
that would
replicating
be-
the
They're
yard.
trying to. I feel like they're
On
trying
the
to
other
model
side.
it off of.
Okay.
They are.
Of the event center.
I thought
Are
that.
they?
That's the
But I
rumor.
was
So.
wondering.
Well, that is happening. Like they're not the Anthony's,
Oh.
but they're actually replicating the yard on the south side of the event center.
Really?
But we've heard rumors that Anthony's is going to be like the main like big restaurant.
That would be
there.
amazing because
That
they're
is literally our favorite.
that's our favorite
favorite
It's
restaurant.
expensive though, so we got
Right,
people
like
that
a-
come in town. We got to actually have like them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right,
right.
so-
Because it's like, if we're going to treat you to Anthony's,
If not, we're going to Burger King or something, right?
we might go to like HC Tavern or something
exactly.
at like 19.
But you don't get Anthony's, so you don't get Anthony's.
Unless, but Anthony's is by far
Definitely,
the
if
first
that
place
was
we're
just a
taking
couple,
them.
but for families,
I would take them to the Children's Museum because I think we have one of the best children's museums.
yeah, I think
sure.
kids enjoy it.
The kids always enjoy that.
Yeah.
I'm bored out of my mind, but the kids,
Even the
sports, I like the sport.
outside.
Yeah, the sports area is cool,
area is-
but the inside though,
I'm
I'm
with
like,
you on the inside.
It's like, how many times can you go?
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
even when you switch out the
kids love it, though,
but
so.
the kids, even
Yeah.
though they're kind of getting, Chad Jr. is kind of phasing out.
But he likes the outdoor
I feel
sports
that he
area,
likes
so.
the
Yeah.
sports.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps him. So I feel like those would be our like top two places. It's funny because for someone who's been here, I feel like I'm always still just kind of searching for like what to do.
Yeah.
You get tired
Yeah.
of doing the same
Yeah.
things, and it's like when people come to Indy, I'm like, listen, Indianapolis is a place you come to when you have to. Honestly, I love it, but I don't think it's a
Yeah.
place that you're like
Like a
let's go
destination.
visit Indy.
Right,
You
yeah,
gotta have
yeah.
family or friends or your job or something.
Or like an event that they're
or an
hosting.
event that's happening.
Yeah.
Like, is there an event that's happening that I can take
I'd
you
take-
to?
Yeah, I take them to
You
like a
know?
Colts game or a
Yeah,
Pacers
yeah.
game. I feel
Yeah,
like those
like a
atmospheres
sports
are
event.
really really cool.
Absolutely, a sports event.
I think for food wise, I'd take them to Arnie's
Oh, he loves
Lafayette.
He loves Arnie.
because Arnie's pizza
Yes.
is so good.
He knows.
He loves Arnie.
Or Basbo's
Or
in
Basbo.
Carmel.
Oh,
yeah, yeah. So like, just take them to
Yeah,
like,
take
that's
them
where
down to
kids
the
like
canal.
pizza.
Let's walk
Yeah.
downtown,
Yeah.
like little stuff like that, just to kind of show the things for Indy. But I still
Yeah.
don't feel like I know what the thing is.
thing
You know,
is,
it's
yeah.
not
We're
like,
still
oh,
searching.
they're coming to New York.
Still
I'm
searching.
taking you to the Statue of Liberty. Or that. Like,
Yeah.
we don't have
We
that
don't have
thing.
that.
Yeah, we don't really have that thing. I'm just gonna feed you well.
We're gonna show you. We're gonna take them to see all the roundabouts.
Yeah, I'm sure they're not coming in the winter time, so maybe we'll go check out a farmer's market or something. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna
Take
go
them
on
to
a-
your kids' sporting
Yeah, like
events.
There you
where's
go.
your go-to place when people like? What is your go-to place when people come to Indy?
I don't know. What do we say? Like Top Golf, like a concert.
I always
at
say
Ruoff.
sporting
Yeah.
events.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I always say like sporting
Sporting
events.
events.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
event. Yeah, it's like events.
It's
Like maybe
events
walk
that
around the
happen.
yard
Yeah,
and eat
yeah.
and-
Just kind of walking around. Like,
Yeah.
let me show you Midwest living.
yeah, or like downtown Carmel. Kind of
Downtown,
fun to walk
yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Walk
That's,
around. We're like we just walk
We
around.
just walk
Just
around.
walk
People
around.
are like, no wonder
We
you
window
guys
shop.
are boring. There.
We
But not
window
in the
shop.
winter, so you can't.
Yeah,
come
don't
in
come in the winter.
because you'll just be
We
in
just
my house.
we drive around during the winter.
around the roundabout.
Yeah, around the roundabouts. We just take you on a tour of the roundabouts, and then back home.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys so much for coming. we really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you. We enjoyed it.
you.
Thank you so much for having
This was
us.
awesome.
All right.
She talks so much.
It's okay.
I'm
We like
surprised.
it.
She never.
Normally he's the talker. That's
Yeah.
why he's
I was so
like,
proud of
"You
her.
were- I feel comfortable.
Good.
See everybody next Tuesday.